Alright, welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yesterday we worked on trying to get our mobile detection working for our fret releases. So if we equip a lute and then play it, see how we can hold an O button on keyboard for fret 1, P for fret 2, and nothing for an open string. We need this equivalent in our desktop version, which it is just not working. We've got to see about potentially modifying the callback for a touch released to include the button that we are releasing from, or we need to basically, anytime any touch is colliding with the B button, we need to ensure that the value 1 is inserted into the fretsHeld table, and if there's ever the second fret held, then fretsHeld needs to be the value 2. So fretsHeld is basically just a table that holds the highest priority fret that's currently being held. So it's not the number of frets being held. If I hold 2 of them, it will say fretsHeld 2, but what's really happening is the thing that's rendering there, either the diagonal slash or the upside down V here, that's rendering based on the index, based on the value that is in our fretsHeld table. So just pressing the A button says fretsHeld 2. That doesn't mean 2 frets are held. It just means that the second fret is the top priority fret that's being held. So we have to get this working on our mobile deployment so that we can play songs on mobile finally. So what is going on? Let's take a look at where we're doing this. Would it be in our lute state? Yeah. So yesterday we refactored, or 2 days ago we refactored a bunch of stuff into our lute class, but we have this working for the keyboard, right? Where upon a release, we know to take out the value corresponding to that key that was just released. So if O is released, we take out the value 1. If P is released, we take out the value 2. Yeah, we take out the index that has the value equal to 2. So yeah, we need the corresponding logic for the mobile version. So if we take a look, where do we insert fretsHeld? Because that's the first step. Okay. Okay. So we need to find where we insert the fretsHeld. Okay. Okay, so it's literally just this. So we need this is the keyboard fretsHeld, and then we need touches fretsHeld. Okay. And then here's the fret removal for the keyboard, so we can keep that up here with here. Okay. Okay, so this is also part of the fretsHeld. We're basically saying, go through our whole table of fretsHeld, keep track of what the highest value is, so that we can delete every fretsHeld in there and just insert only the highest value. So we'll need that. And actually, I'll keep that below because we'll need to do that for the touches as well. So we can use that twice. Okay, so are we cycling through? Are we doing any frets held for the button collides? Here we go. No, this is for the loot state toggle. Here, this is the logic here. So if, here we go. Yeah, okay, this is jacked up. So what we're doing here is assigning the value into a fret held in touches. So if we look at where we define our touch callback in our play state, we might be able to see what we were trying to do here. So let's do this. We're looking for a fret held. No? Oh, touch handling, okay. Okay. I don't think we want to go this route. Yeah, I don't think we want to go this route. This is... So why we did it here is because we don't have access to this global touch released callback function. Actually, I'm not sure if we're allowed to duplicate it elsewhere. Let's try to delete it from here. This touch released. Let's just get rid of it. Rid of the old logic. So all that a touch released does is take out of our touches table the ID for the touch that was just released. So if our touch released function only has that, then let's take a look at here. Instead of doing this, because there's an issue with the continuous touch, right? So if we insert a value anytime we detect a touch for the B or A button, we're going to be re-inserting that value over and over, and we only want one value in there, either open string, fret 1 or fret 2. So I think, yeah, see, we don't want, we are inserting the right value because 1 is A, which is the 2nd fret. Okay. So the tricky thing is we have to do this. Let's just do this before our highest logic. So right here, there's our highest logic. So we'll put our frets held touches here. So if our touch collides with the B button, we're going to insert 1 into the frets held table. We don't need this field anymore. If our A button is colliding with a touch, then we're going to insert frets held 2. And then here, at this point, there could be, if you hold both B and A, there could be both a 1 and 2 in our frets held table because we just inserted the value into the table. So then it's going to say, okay, for every, if there are frets held values, we're going to count the highest, and we're going to delete our table and only insert the value of the highest, because we loop through the frets held and we keep track of if our value is greater than the highest or not, which highest is equal to 0. So highest should be the highest value, and that's what we insert. So let's try this and see. This, I don't think this will delete, this won't delete any values because we took out the was released logic, or for the touch release logic, but we might be able to get the proper values. We want only one value, either B or A, depending on what's currently being pressed. So let's test this on mobile. Okay. It might take me a little while to get this set up. So we will git pull our changes. We'll make sure we have the correct commit. We'll run our build script and we'll deploy to the web. Okay. We just deployed. Let me share screen here. Okay, let's see here. We're not toggling our loot state. So we need to fix that at least. I guess I could have just fixed it on the Mac, but I let's see where we're doing the loot state. Yeah, look, if we touch, if we collide, if buttons 3... What is buttons 3? Buttons 3 is select. Okay, well, where do we say loot state is true? For a button press, we don't even have it. So, okay. So we need to basically... I swear we had this. I swear we had this. Okay, we want this where we say we need to do this, where we make our player face down, change animation to down, turn our loot state to true, only if not loot state, and then we have to do select. We have to do select for the loot state becoming false because B goes from toggling our loot state to being the first fret being held, so we have to have a different way to toggle loot state off. So let us do this. Oh, buttons 2 collides. No, this is right. Buttons 2 is our B button. And if our item slot is not empty and the type of our item slot is loot, then we loot state true. That should be working. Now this is in loot state. Oh, that's the issue. Okay, so we need this. We need this toggle to be outside of our loot state. So we'll go into our play state. Here. Okay, so we don't update our loot class unless we're in loot state. So since we're never in loot state, this code was never getting executed. So outside of that update, so every frame we're going to be cycling through, checking for a touch for a loot button, touch for a B button when loot is equipped, in order to change our loot state to be equal to true, and then we'll falsify it if select is pressed and we're already in loot state. Otherwise, select will just toggle our help, which we need to also fix. But let's try this. We'll say Let's try it. Okay. Still not working. Buttons 2. This should be buttons 2. Buttons 2. Okay, I mean, we're able to toggle the loot, right? Oh. What? Touch detection 18. I don't know what we changed that we broke this. Let's try this. Okay, it doesn't like when O is pressed for some reason. I can't even tell if we're getting to the loot state or not. If O is pressed, it doesn't say it's crashing there. It says it's crashing on a touch detection, which we're on keyboard, so I don't get why the touch detection would be causing this issue. Keyboard. We might have put... Maybe this touches doesn't exist yet? No? Let me just see. If we take out the loot state getting true here, do we crash? We do. That is really strange. So we're trying to call our touch detection collides before it is defined. This is really strange. Let's do something here. Okay, let's just check out this previous commit here. We're going to do the one from 2 days ago. Yeah, we're going to do this one, FFD0, BA1. Okay, let's run this and see. Okay, so I'm tempted to just check out this branch on our Mac and try it. Okay, we're gonna do a get checkout on our... It was the one right before this, actually. Did it work? I think it worked. Okay, still not working. Yeah, we're just not able to toggle our loot state here. We'll try it one more time. I could have sworn this was working the other day, so it doesn't make sense it's broke. What the heck? Yeah. So maybe our... This is weird. Let's dig around and see. This is the line that should be toggling the loot state. For our touch detection, we're saying if button's 2, that's our B button. Yeah, A is buttons 1, B is buttons 2. So if B is pressed and the item slot doesn't equal nil, and the item slot at inventory 1 is a type of loot, then if we're not already in loot state, go ahead, face us downwards, and make us loot state true. Okay. Okay, let's try this. Let's switch back to our other branch. Let's test it. All right. It's so weird because we're pressing O and it's crashing us for the touch detection. So, O here. Slot is nil. Okay. Let me just let's just try to figure out which line is crashing us. Is it this one? Okay. So it does look like this is the one that's crashing us. And this is in P. Toko, what is up? Do you use any controlled environment to launch the dev version? I wouldn't say it's a controlled environment. It's just in the terminal here. So I've got some Vim key bindings so that when I press leader M, it opens a terminal window and it runs the game engine with the current directory right there. So that's how I'm doing. That's how I'm running the game. For testing. So why would this, in our play state, be screwing up item slot? Let's print up our item slot. It's tough because it's actually a class of object, so that doesn't help us too much. I'm pretty sure we're rendering based on the item slot, so if we see a loot down in the bottom, we know that the item slot is the item, the appropriate item. So what's really weird is that we're crashing. Why would something, when we change to loot state, because we change to loot state and then we update our loot. So by the time loot state is triggered, okay, let's test this. So if we just, if we just take this off, we should not crash. Yeah. And then So something in our loot class is what's crashing. So we have an incorrect cycle through our touches somewhere. So let's check all of our collides for if it's inside a block of touches. So this one is in a block of touches, so that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah. Oh. This does look a little wrong here. Okay, so check this out. We've got string 1. This is in a collides block here. The if and end are right there. For a string down, the if and end are right there. For down and right, we're checking down, and then okay, so this is just the multi-string. Oh, let's see, this is really weird. Yeah, this does look slightly wrong, but I don't think that this is what's causing our crashing. I think that's just something else that's wrong. This is the issue. This is the issue here because we're trying to run collides function on something that isn't a touch, so we have to cycle through our touches here. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's see if we crash. Okay. Now that we've got that, I still do think I'm doing some wrong stuff in the multi-string detection. Maybe I'll leave a note there so I don't forget. Gosh. Yeah, let me see. Where's the multi-string? Down right. Okay, leave us a little note here. Let's do a commit and we'll test it on the mobile deployment. That one was a little tricky to find because it said we were crashing at a touch detection object, which was really deeper into the loot class, so that's why it was kind of hard to find. Okay, let's test. It's still busted. Let's make sure our loot state toggle's happening outside of our loot update. Yeah, we are. So we're cycling through our touches. If the B button collides, we're gonna become loot state. I can't tell what's going on. Either our item slot is not toggling correctly, or yeah, buttons 2 should be B buttons, so we should have that right. So like, let's just do this where we say loot state is gonna be true. And let's just do this on the Mac so we don't have to switch it. This looks like it's at 102. Okay, so we're gonna say loot state just gets set to true here if we collide with a touch, regardless of whether or not the item slot is a type loot or not. So let's try this, or we'll build this. I guess we could try running it, make sure we don't crash. Okay. What just happened to that? Okay. Let's try that. I think I'm going to start putting like little version numbers in the mobile deployments so I can make sure we're on the right build. It says it's transferred, so let's try it. So now we should be switching to loot state regardless of what item is equipped. Just when the B button's pressed, we should be switching to loot state. So let's see. Yeah, no. Shit, man. What is going wrong? Part of me feels like this deployment isn't even changing because it hasn't changed. Let's test something real quick. Let's test. What we'll do is just say in our place state here, we'll just go to a bottom and just print out something. So we'll build this. See, look. We don't have the is this on, so it hasn't been uploading. So I think we might need to force like a cache reset or something. Okay, now we've got the is this on. Let's test. Our B still doesn't toggle loot state, but it does when loot's equipped. Okay, wow, this is so jacked up. what we screwed up. The top two strings aren't working and none of the double strings. Well, just the first double string's working. And so 1, 2, and 3. None of the other D-pad buttons are working. Okay. Let's look through our loot state and see if we can find what's wrong. Wow. Did I really? I just cleaned my whole harpoon on accident. Wow. Okay. We're looking for our loot class. See, I think this is what, yeah, this is what's wrong. I don't think that this is nested appropriately. So if we're looking for down and right, 8 should be our down. Wow. Okay, 5 is D-pad. String 1 is D-pad 5. 7 is down. So down and right should be 5 and 7. D-pad right, actually, yeah, it should just be the sounds, because D-pad 8 is our down and right index. And then we're doing two things. We're playing both the down sound and the right sound here. So once we edit that, this needs to be an end. Okay, so that should be right for down and right. Then this is left. So let's try to get this. That should be left, and then down and left is a D-pad 6, and we're doing two sounds. That has a proper end. And then up is a D-pad 2, that should be okay. Up and left, we have first sound and second sound, that should be right. And then up and to the right is playing one sound and two sounds, that should be right. Okay, and then is this... Uh-oh. We have an extra end in here somewhere? Okay, that's looking right. Let's test that. We'll say strumming on mobile test. Let's try it. So I think the issue was I should run in incognito mode on my phone when I ran the website, because it was remembering like a cached version of the game. So we weren't getting the is this thing on a default refresh. But now let's test it. Shit, man. We don't even compile. It was my bad for not testing it. We're missing a end somewhere. End of file near end. What are we missing? We we just have one 4 here. Oh, where was that end? No, that looks right. This all looks right. Yeah, that looks right. I mean, oh, this end is wrong. Okay, that end is wrong. Okay, we should be able to run now. Okay, let's try it again. Let's do. Okay, here we go. Okay. String 1 works. String 2 works. 3, 4. Diagonal. 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 Okay. Sweet. Okay. This is sadly where I thought we were at the beginning of the episode, but we had plenty of issues, so. Okay. So, what we're trying to fix is the frets held here. So if we press B, it thinks frets held is 1 because we had pressed B the very frame we toggled the loot state, and then frets held turns to 2 when we hit A. Thanks, Pitoko. One of those things where I haven't tested this on mobile in the past 2 days, I think, so I was assuming it was working when it really wasn't, so it's taken us this past hour to just get to the point where we can get started. I was thinking that we could press B and toggle the frets held back to 1 here, but that is not the case. I think the highest frets held is overriding it. So the first step, I think the first step is to flush our frets held right from the get-go, and then if we detect a touch on B or A, place values 1 and 2 inside the frets table, then do the highest insertion there, and then we'll see where that gets us. So now we're in our loot class. Okay, we're looking for right here. So we're cycling through our touches. If B is pressed, we're going to insert frets held. Okay, and then we are doing that. Ay. We are doing this already. So we're inserting 1 if B is pressed. We're inserting 2 if 1 is pressed. That should give us both of those values in the frets held table. Then we're cycling through our highest, cycling through our frets, keeping track of the highest value, flushing our frets held table, and then inserting the highest value, which on our touch is only 2 for some reason. Like it thinks frets held is always 2. So that tells me that, oh, you know what it is? No. I was thinking we have to be doing some other touch detection here that is incorrect. Here's all the D-pad string touch detection. Yeah, see, that's not the issue here. Our fretsHeld gets instantiated as an empty table. Then this is all of our string playing. Okay. I want to say it might have been something like this, but on a mobile device, we won't be doing that. So I'm thinking that when we had O being pressed on touch to toggle the loot state, then that very frame, fretsHeld became 1. Let me see. Yeah, I think that makes sense to me because B is pressed and then on the very first frame, yeah. So right here, the very first frame we change into our loot state, it's going to detect the collision. And we aren't ever removing the values. Actually, we are. We're removing the values here with this refresh here. And if, yeah, basically, if we have any values in our fretsHeld table, highest gets 0, cycle through all the fretsHeld. If the value in the fretsHeld is greater than 0, then highest becomes the value in fretsHeld. Then we flush our table, insert the highest value. Okay, so, and we know fretsHeld, well, yeah. What is going on then? Because we should, this, like if we were to just say fretsHeld gets an empty table here, fretsHeld should always get flushed to nothing. Yeah. But instead we're doing it here right before we insert the highest value. So the question is, how is highest getting set to 1 even though we don't collide with the B button on the touch detection? Either we're not removing the touch correctly upon a touch release. Let's check that code. And I have to get going here. I've got a movie to catch. So I'll be wrapping up stream soon. I've got a movie at 9:55. Yeah, we nullified the touches right here. We might have been onto something with this. Let's see. So upon a touch release, because our only, hey, thanks for hanging out, Pitoko. I appreciate you checking out the channel. Yeah, I'll be wrapping up shortly. This end, first of all, doesn't need to be here, right? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, we aren't doing this field of fretsHeld anymore, so we don't know how to remove which fret. This was broken anyway. So let's just say all we do is nullify the touch that was released. And then Yeah, let's try that. Because ideally the fretsHeld would be empty if there's no collision, because we flush it right here. fretsHeld gets empty table. Oh, but we're never... Oh yeah, this does count as our removal. Okay. So even though our one value is being inserted as soon as we switch over to loot state, it doesn't matter, because you know what? Maybe we should add the wasTouched on this B press as well. Let's do that and see if it changes anything. So if we have to not only be colliding with the touch, but we have to also, and that touch has to be wasTouched, which is the first frame it was touched. Same thing with here. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, still not working. Yeah, it's like we need to flush fretsHeld before we even populate it, but that's what's really weird, is we are flushing it. I'm gonna have to hunt it down later. At least we're playing the strings in loot state on mobile as of now, so that's decent. We'll leave it here. Yeah, I'll call it a night here. I've got to get going to the movie. We'll raid out here to channel friend Hypnotic Games, because he's always working on some stuff. So I'll raid out, and I hope everyone has a great night. Thanks for watching. Hypnotic Games. Here we go. Sweet. Peace out. Have a good night.